How excited are you, Reg?
I'm well excited to see this.
Do you know how long I've waited for this?
Well, it's been about 20 years plus, maybe.
No, wait, we're talking about the same thing. I'm talking about the double down at KFC.
Oh, then I'm mega excited.
There you go.
The double down.
It's been 5.5 years, Reg. Let's get this in our belly and then let's watch Blade Runner. Yeah. It's nearly time to watch the film now. We've had our double down and now Reg has found this magical thing.
Look at it. It's like 20 different kinds of Kinder things. Life is complete.
Wait, £1.29 for 5?
Yeah, or for £23.49.
I don't know, Reg. I'm expecting lots of running on blades, you know, like they do in the Paralympics.
Ah, I thought it was like blades as in like shaving.
No.
And he's
Thank you.
You know, it's just the fact that he shaved too much and now he's bleeding and he's got to run to try and get some tissue.
Right, now be quiet, Reg. See you in 2 million hours because it's really long.
It is really long.
Bye. Right, there we are. How do I get the brightness right? I'm really bright, you're really dark. It's like a metaphor for that movie.
It genuinely was, because that was very dark.
In places. I mean, it was dark all the time. It's perpetual
really
night in the land
was.
of Blade Runner, unless you go to Vegas.
And then it's daytime, but
Dusty.
really dusty inside.
Very
So you
dusty.
still can't see anything.
Everything that they can do with their science, like making people and stuff and flying cars, can't get rid of like smog and stuff.
Genuinely can't. That was our review of Blade Runner 2049.
Thanks for tuning in. Right, go on, Reg, you go first.
It genuinely feels like that film went on until 2049.
It's 21:41 actually.
Oh, it's close.
Okay. It started at 7. It is very long. It's now
it's very
2
long
hours and 40
film.
minutes.
But it feels like it's about. Well, when the original Blade Runner got released, they've done 7 different versions.
7 cuts. Yeah,
Right.
Well, when it got released, there was 1.
Yeah, but now there's 7 in total.
Because they're like, no, I want to change this.
Felt like if you blended all of them together and just played it out.
Well, maybe that's it. So the original Blade Runner, the studio said, no, this is the version you're releasing. And then Ridley Scott and other people were just like, no, this is our version, this is our version. Changed it a little bit, re-release it. When it became this cult classic, it was worthy of these re-releases. Whereas this, I think they went from the get-go, we are making the film we want to make.
Yeah, we're having the one
Studios were
version.
just, do not get in our way. Yeah, that took 2 hours and 40 minutes to tell that story.
Which it didn't need to. Don't get me wrong, it's not the worst, it's not a bad film. It's genuinely not a bad film. It's not one I would watch ever again.
I couldn't watch it for a long time, okay? I don't know whether I enjoyed it. I didn't hate it.
No, I didn't hate it.
I
despite the whole.
I'm glad I've seen it, and I thought it was important to see it. I don't think there's anything like it, even the original Blade Runner. I've not seen a film look like that in a long time.
No.
Like, it perfected that sort of neo-futuristic sort of.
And that's what I wanted from it,
exactly.
Because the original Blade Runner, when you think of Blade Runner, you obviously think of the Deckard, the flying cars,
yeah,
think of the weapons. But one of the main things I was saying to you before as well is I loved like the visuals in Blade Runner, like the locales,
and that looked amazing.
Everything looked brilliant.
You haven't seen Arrival, have you?
No.
So, I mean, the director, Denis Villeneuve, like you can see him all over that from Arrival. It's it's a really basic film, really, for an alien sort of first contact type film. It's very like, sort of indie sentiments to it. It's not very Hollywood, and I think that almost was as well. That's what I mean. I don't think the studios would have had much to say with that. I think they made the film they wanted.
They did, but
they wanted to look.
It did feel, in my eye, it felt like a huge blockbuster throw money at film.
Oh, there's a lot of money in it. Don't get me wrong with that.
Huge,
Absolutely.
massive, like, I know obviously they're now CGI, but there's like the big sand sculptures and, you know, like all the actual women popping out of the adverts. The product placement of Sony rife throughout. And don't get me wrong, like, I love Atari, right? But what makes them think that Atari is making such a huge, massive comeback that they're going to have a massive skyscraper?
So, Blade Runner 1 was set in 2019, so that's in 2 years' time from now. I don't remember, but I'm guessing Atari were featured in the original, no? And they were just playing off on that.
Well, I'm thinking because the Atari's got the new Atari box coming out.
Yeah.
Maybe that might just bring them back out.
Guys, look how well the SNES Mini did. Let's make an Atari.
But no, again, like I said, it was a decent-ish film. It wasn't everything I wanted it to be, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I was a bit disappointed.
Maybe not.
But I was saying to you, when we walked out, I did not see a point in Ryan Gosling in that film.
Well, yes and no. So exactly, the whole point, I guess, was Harrison Ford character, which you didn't see. And did you just notice I got my phone out at one point?
Yeah.
That was because I was like, Harrison Ford's about to come into this now. I can tell. What time is it? Oh, look, it's been on for an hour and 45 minutes. It would have been better if they'd have kept him out of the trailers.
Yeah.
Because
well and truly,
you'd have watched it all the way up to there. You'd have watched the film's worth of the film before you go, oh wow, they got Harrison Ford back. I don't know. He facilitated the whole journey.
Yes.
If you didn't have him, like, how else are you going to get there?
All it takes is literally you. So now you find out since the blackouts happened, which happens in the anime you've watched,
which is good actually. That's only 15 minutes in and out. Watch it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right. So that follows on with the story at the beginning, which shows her in text, which basically happens what happens in the anime.
It's true.
All of a sudden, Wallace buys out Tyrell. Since that
he was pointless.
He was very pointless.
He was in 2 scenes.
After the huge, massive thing of like, oh my god, I go blind for the role because I'm so worth it.
And why did he need to be blind?
There's no reason for any of that.
None of it.
But yeah, so basically he takes over. Now they're making good robots that obey, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so smashing. So you've got that. So you've got that whole thing boxed up, and then you're like, right, okay. So now that girl needs to make the memories so that she can trace the dad. Okay. Right? So now we know they've got robots that obey. All we need to do is show a little montage of literally all the replicants having memories put in by her.
Replicants.
That then goes
everywhere.
Perfect.
Okay.
Someone's got it. You don't need an hour and 20 minutes of following him around a tree and shit. There was a huge, massive story, which was a film, and as a film, it would have been good if there was the reasoning behind it. When you're like, oh my god, and you've got this and you've got that, and I was like, right, okay, following it.
Do you think there's like
really no reason for it?
Like a 6-part sort of mini series?
Yes, that's how it would have been better, and it would have been more acceptable as well. I think instead of having to sit through that. Yeah. Like I said, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad film. It was all right, but it just wasn't what I pictured and wanted.
I didn't say everyone. I think most people need to watch this film. I think if you like films, you like your sci-fis, and you want to see quite, big important films, it's probably going to win some Oscars. I think just partly because of the look of it and just
the visuals were incredible in it.
But I think everyone needs to see it, but don't expect to be like
blown away from it.
That was like, I need to watch that.
You won't be on the edge of your seat throughout it all. You'll actually be
like slouched in your seat.
Yeah, because I was literally just like contemplating like all the little looks and pieces and stuff. And the one thing I will say is the fight scene that happened with Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford. So Harrison Ford actually smacks him properly in acting, and he kept it in the scene.
Brilliant.
So they've actually used the scene and that's when Ryan Gosling turned around and looked quite surprised and shocked.
Alright.
It's because Harrison Ford actually smashed him in the face, but apparently it's just like a little cheeky dig.
Yeah.
Not much, but
so he can't fake fight, he can't fly a plane.
There's not a lot he can do anymore.
No.
To be fair. But again, up until the very last bit, a genuine. What was the point in that film? Was the point in that film just to just bring back and?
Absolutely. It was a completely separate story that didn't necessarily need to be told. It was like, I think it's time to make a new Blade Runner. What's the story? Okay, let's spin it off from the original. It's got stuff based in the original, but it didn't answer any questions from the original.
No,
apart from is Decker a replicant or not? The big twist, which obviously spoilers, that Ryan Gosling was not the kid; it was the girl that you met.
Yeah,
who looked at the memory and went, "That's a real memory," because it was her memory. Yeah, he found the horse.
Yeah,
and then he went to see her to say, "Is this a real memory?" He didn't need to do that. He found the horse. Nope. It was clearly real. Yeah. So when he then went to see her, I was like, what's the point in this scene? What's the point in this extra character? There's no reason for this. Why does he suddenly needs to find out this was definitely a real memory? And then he goes mental. Yeah. He knew because he'd experienced it. He just saw it. He found the horse. Mm-hmm. So then when it finally came back later, that explained, all right, that's why she was in it.
But that's the minute they said, yeah, it was a daughter. I'm like, right, so it's the memory maker. Exactly. It's so there in your face. It was like, right. I did enjoy the way you were like, right, he genuinely believes he is. Yeah. Up until that bit.
That's because I think so did the audience.
Yeah, but that's it, and you do go along with it, and like, right, and it does make sense. Yeah. Up until that last bit. I don't get the whole synth going, like the AI going into and syncing up with like the women and stuff too, so she could feel it. It just seemed a bit weird.
That whole character didn't seem to have much point. The AI, it just followed him along, and I don't know. Did it give him a bit of humanity? I don't think. I think
that's all it was to say that look, I can have a relationship too, but I don't like real people. Right. I like fake people that I can turn off. I mean, don't get me wrong, great idea. Right. Great idea to be able to just turn off your partner and lock him away for a bit and carry on doing what you're doing.
And then he loses it, but it doesn't seem to then have any bearing. Yeah, it was a bit odd.
I think it's one of those films that the more I think about it, the more I'm like, it wasn't as good
I don't want it to be.
But also, how loud
but I love that film. The absolute, my favourite thing about that, and it was the same when I went to see Dunkirk, it was the sound, like, it just really, like, just you feel it vibrating through your entire body.
My ears were bleeding at one point, I'm pretty sure, because it was like,
it's the same in Arrival, but the thing with Arrival, it mirrors, or it kind of builds you into the way the aliens sound and talk. And it works really well. And as soon as I heard that with the trumpets and things like that, I was like, this is... In fact, it's very Chris Nolan as well. Dark Knight and Inception stuff, there's all this...
Yeah, it was very loud though. And at some points I was trying to listen into what they were saying, and sometimes the music was just made me go like, what? Right. It was just very like...
Do you know, I saw someone on Twitter, it's one of the film magazines or websites or something like that, going... Got this on repeat in the office, and it was the Blade Runner 2049 soundtrack. It's like a picture of it.
Oh, jeez.
And this before I'd seen it, I was just like, oh, right, yeah, because the original was like, it's Vangelis. It was like proper.
Yeah,
like,
it was awesome.
It's an amazing soundtrack. I mean, that wasn't.
No.
How I couldn't. I'm going to put it on Spotify on the way home, and if you hear of me driving into a ditch, that's probably because I decided to end it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just don't know.
No, I think I've got more questions than I have
I read that
on it.
Because that's what everyone said about the original Blade Runner. Everyone's just like, oh, there's so many questions that need answering. This doesn't answer them, unfortunately.
Oh, God, no.
But I've got more questions, and I don't think they're questions like, but what about this about the film? It's just more like, why?
Yeah, what was the point in the dog?
Well, because that's his dog. Isn't that his dog? He's got a dog in the original.
I genuinely can't remember.
See, this is the problem. And I said this multiple times.
I need to watch it
Everyone
before.
goes, no, not that. I think the problem with making a Blade Runner sequel, like, everyone says, it's amazing, it's one of the best sci-fi films ever, but a lot of people haven't seen it. Yeah. Or they watched it once and never again, and years ago. It's taken on this thing of, I need to like Blade Runner because it's cool. I need to be that guy who's like, oh, Blade Runner, it's one of those classic movies.
A hipster?
Maybe. But it's don't know. There's films like that, like Close Encounters.
Shite.
All right, okay.
Sorry.
Fair enough. But that's another one that so many people haven't seen, but like, oh, it's so amazing, it's this classic.
I think that's the thing now. There is, as soon as someone says it, someone quite influential, then all of a sudden everyone jumps on the bandwagon, and that's it. Like, E.T.'s not that great a film. Goonies is severely overrated. throwing that out there. And Stranger Things was just absolute wank. There's so many things that are completely overrated that I don't get it. And I know in the comments if people are going to
people want to curse him.
They are. I am gonna get gone. But
Steve got cursed in a comment on YouTube today. We won't talk anymore about it, but he got cursed.
I think I'm gonna have a similar thing.
Excellent. But go watch it. Make sure
you've got a lot of time and energy drink with you. Exactly.
Mountain Dew got me through that.
But it is a good dish.
I'm glad I saw it.
Yeah.
And as a whole, I kind of enjoyed. I'm glad I saw it. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah. No. Like I said, I enjoyed the settings. I think the setting was brilliant.
Yeah.
The visuals were phenomenal. Like really were fun. Like enjoyable to just look around and glance at everything going on.
And well written.
Some ideas of the gadgets and stuff were cool.
Exactly.
It was written quite well. There was just so much pointlessness to it that sort of dragged it from being amazing to just. And that's the problem. Right.
I think when you're sitting there trying to justify in your head why that movie was 2 hours and 45 minutes or whatever. And you've got all this just fluff, all this rubbish that just doesn't need to be in it. That makes it hard to kind of like it. I think. I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
Bit shorter. Let's have a director's cut.
Oh dear God, I can't watch that again.
Anyway, I think that'll do.
Nice. Yeah. I like it.
I really like the Double Down though. That was
Double Down was a highlight of the day.
Yeah, that was all right. Anyway. Take one thing from this video, it's go to KFC and have a Double Down. See you.